Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Reynolds Coliseum. We're now going to have start the press conferences for our first game. We're going to start with Kansas State. Coach Mitty, if you could please give us an opening statement.
Well, it was I think two really good defensive teams. I think we each had something to do with the struggles early in this game, and I think both teams really are sound in that area. I was proud of our group, obviously, when we've got a lot of players struggling. We just kind of stayed the course and just kept, we struggled getting the ball to Lee. She struggled finishing early in this game. But we kept kept our focus, I think, decently in those areas. And when shots weren't falling, that's been a little bit of the maturity of our team, is that when shots aren't falling, we dug deep today. I think that's something that this team has learned, not to tie their defense to their offense, and I think we're moving on because of that. We obviously don't win this game because we're sharp offensively. We just found enough plays, but defensively, I liked what I saw, and we're moving on because of it.
All right, thank you, Coach. All right, the way this works is we're going to open the floor up for questions for the student athletes. We'll deal with the student athletes first, and then we'll go to Coach after that. So if you have a question, we'll ask you to please raise your hand, and we'll wait until you have the microphone before you ask your question. Let me remind you also at this time that you cannot videotape the press conference. You can take pictures, but you cannot videotape it. Let's go up front with Mitch here.
Yeah, Mitch Northam from the AP. Aoka, in the first half, it seemed like their emphasis was trying to deny you the ball, even catching it in the post. What changed for you in the second half, and how were you able to kind of get free?
I think that was definitely just a struggle in the first half. I think things opened up more just as we continued to play together. I think, like Coach said, this was kind of a grind through a game, but we kept working hard, I think, is what helped us. And, like, the guards just continuing to work and move, I think was the biggest thing in us moving the ball.
Can we go to Lindsay right here? Oh, I'm sorry, Cole. We'll get Lindsay and then Cole. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what was the mood like in that locker room at halftime, and who is it? Is it Coach that's the one who's doing the speaking, or the players speaking up? What is it like when you're down at half and have been struggling?
Riley, could you answer that, please?
Even if we are down, we also maintain like a positive attitude. When Coach walks in, we do clap, and we do celebrate like the little things that we've done. We try not to like dwell kind of on what we're doing bad, but like stay confident and maintain like that composure, so that coming into like the third quarter that we do what needs to be done.
Let's go in the back to Colton.
Similar question for Aoka. Did you sense that you were able to kind of get them fatigued as the game wore on, or did you sense maybe some tired legs from Washington State out there later in the game?
I guess I didn't really think about that. I think coming out at half, I think it was like we knew we were still in it. We knew it was anyone's game. And like we've been in so many different game situations this year. So I don't think there was any question of whether like we were still in it or not. And I think our mentality was like we just have to keep doing, like sticking to our game plan.
Let's go back up to Mitch.
Yeah, Riley, not only did you guys kind of find your shooting rhythm in the second half, but you were better defensively too. What was the focus on the defensive end in the second half?
Watching film and doing scout and everything like that, we knew that they were really good spot shooters. So I think like coming into this game, we do play like a lot of zone, but like the emphasis on that was not to let them get like super wide open threes. And I think as the game kept going on, we kept working better together, and we got more confident as a team, so we were able to get those defensive stops and limit their three-point attempts.
Okay, any other questions for the student athletes? Let's go back to Lindsay.
I was going to say, you seem very kind of subdued right now. You just won a big game. I know you played a lot of minutes. Is it fatigue, or is it just kind of your personality? You just seem very
About 90 in the locker, 90 degrees in the locker room.
Oh.
We just got out of a sauna, so we're.
Yeah, I'd say it's my personality. I think definitely like celebrating, like this is huge for us. But also I think, I don't know, I think I'm pretty like steady. I try to be.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, but yeah.
All right, any other questions in the room for the student athletes? Okay, let's go over to Gene.
This is for you, Yoko. You seem to position yourself better in the second half. What kind of changes did you make? Because you definitely got more rebounds in the second half than you did in the first half.
Yeah, I just think the second half we were just playing better, like as a whole, and I think if I can get better position earlier on I know that they have bigger windows to get it into me, I think that puts me in better rebounding position. I think that starts like earlier on in the possession than just like when the shot goes up.
Any other student athlete questions here? Okay, let's check on Zoom and see where we're at with that. Jamie, are you there? Hello, Jamie. Should I try Nathan? Okay. Hello, Nathan.
Can you hear me?
Yes, who is this?
This is Nathan.
Okay, Nathan, great. Do you have a question for the student athletes?
Yeah, Nathan and Sarah, K-State Collegiate. Riley, it seemed like you had a little bit easier time, you and the rest of the guards, getting the ball into Yoki in the second half. Why do you think that was, and I guess how much of an emphasis was placed on that at halftime?
During halftime, I think there was like a lot of emphasis. Like we all know what a great player Yoki is, so we all do want to get her the ball. But I think in the first half, we kind of saw that there was like two people there, so we might have like shied away from passing the ball into her a little bit. So coming out in like the third quarter, we did put a big emphasis on looking at it more, seeing those small windows, because there were small windows to get her the ball, and we just wanted to be able to do that for her.
Do you have any other questions for the student athletes, Nathan?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's try Tim. Hello, Tim, are you there? Tim, are you there?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Do you have a question for the student athletes?
Yeah, I do. Yoki, when you started getting to a rhythm a little bit there in the second half, just how did that feel for you, especially after kind of some ups and downs in that first half?
Yeah, I think it was just something to keep building off of, like every possession. I think our defense was better the second half, so having that too, I think it was all just like, okay, let's just keep building, keep building, keep building.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, ladies, that is all the time we have for student athlete questions, so you are excused. Again, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Might want to take a look at that game clock to see where. Oh yeah, nice. Nice.
Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and
We got 11 minutes.
open the floor up for questions for Coach Mitty, and we'll do it in-house first. So if you have a question, please raise your hand, and we'll get you a microphone. Should we go to Mitch up front?
Yeah, Coach. I guess kind of the same question I asked to Yoko. You know, what worked in the second half that didn't in the first?
Well, we tried to get a little different lineup out there, you know, in terms of they weren't guarding Ebert, they weren't guarding Mackey, they didn't guard Simone, so, you know, and trying to put a better shooting lineup out there where they had to stretch a little bit gave us a little bigger windows out there. So Dallinger got a look. Dallinger didn't shoot the ball well, but they know she's capable of knocking some threes down, and so I think it stretched them a little bit. The other adjustment that we tried to make was a little more middle of the floor with our entries. And then with the players they weren't guarding, Goodrich had a really good stretch at the end of the third, start of the fourth, because she shrunk the floor down herself, getting closer to Lee, so she was able to make some plays in there. So I think, it wasn't a great offensive game. I think what we talked about at halftime was that there are windows in there. You've got to show a little more discipline. You've got to show a little more poise and be more decisive. I thought we were indecisive in the first half.
Any other questions for Coach Mitty? Go back to Mitch.
The defense was also much better from you guys in the second half. I think you didn't allow them to make a field goal in the last 5 minutes of the game. Did defense kind of come easier once you got the lead?
I think confidence, I think both ends. I thought what Briley alluded to was kind of the rhythm defensively. I thought we had a good feel for where they were trying to get their threes. I thought our switch outs were good. I thought our communication was good. I thought we were mixing things up enough to keep them off balance. But, as a coach, you can mix things up. And if your players aren't on point with communication, if they're not locked in to the action, all the stuff that you can draw up on a whiteboard doesn't matter. Our players really, I think, just continued to grow in their confidence. I thought, one of the things that we wanted to do was Briley alluded to running them off the three-point line. I thought we made them shot fake and step aside on some plays. We were committed to guarding the three. And, they got the first three. And we have a saying that there's a difference between pressure and posing. First three they got, you guys could have got a great picture of us doing this. After that, we were flying, and we were making them bounce the ball. So our players really played well in that area.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Lindsay.
I guess it's also kind of the same question I asked Yoki for you. I think this was her first NCAA tournament victory, if I'm correct. So what is it about her personality? Does she get high? Is she?
She does, but her coach played her 38 minutes and 53 seconds, so I think she's a little tired. So I didn't get her a lot of rest. Forgive her for resting during the press conference. It's the only time she gets to rest.
It's just we don't get to see.
No, she is. One of the things that's great about her is that there's not anybody in the locker room bouncing around, hugging everybody more than she is. And I think that, but she really is the best balance of, she's got a mean streak between the lines. And then what you see here is just she's pretty chill and pretty relaxed outside of it. I'm sure she's. I know that she wanted to play well, and I know that she wanted this victory, as they all did. And she was preparing. You go to our preparation last night. She was preparing all the way till 10 o'clock last night to get ready to play well today. So we didn't necessarily play well today, but we're moving on, and we're one of 32 that's going to be doing it.
Any other questions in-house for Coach? All right, let's try again with. Hello, Arn, are you there?
Yeah.
Hi, Arn. Do you have a question for Coach Mitty?
They got in foul trouble with their posts, and how helpful was that? They kind of went smaller the rest of the way. How beneficial was that in getting the ball into Lee?
Yeah, I think it was helpful. Obviously it forced us to do some things differently at the defensive end, but I do think there were bigger windows to get her the basketball in the second half. There's no doubt that the free throw line became a factor for us in the second half. We very intentionally were driving it hard at them. We very intentionally were trying to get every opportunity we could. I thought our group did a good job when we did get in the bonus of staying with attacking the rim and forcing those calls.
Any other questions, Arn?
That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Tim, are you there?
Am I still here? Hello?
Is that Tim?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Do you have a question for Coach Mooney?
Hey, Jeff. Tim Eves and Mad Mercury. You guys most likely will get North Carolina State on Monday. Playing them already, what is that? How does that kind of change your guys' preparation as far as scouting them for Monday?
Well, if we get North Carolina State, that was kind of a lifetime ago in basketball terms. I mean, I think it was our 4th game of the year, maybe 5th game of the year. You have some familiarity because you've seen them live in terms of personnel. But in terms of what they're doing now, where they've evolved to, I haven't seen them play much. I will dive into that as soon as I'm done with you fine folks, and dive into that as quickly as I can. So, as you know, Tim, that was, I think, a Friday in the preseason NIT. So we were a young basketball team. I thought we came in and competed well, but boy, we sure couldn't stop them. And defensively, we could not stop them. It was not it was actually a good message to our group going back to Manhattan back then, because we needed to improve and we needed to do it quickly. So I'll be curious to see more North Carolina State here going forward, if that's who we get on Monday, which, the odds are pretty good, but they still got a game to play.
Any other questions, Tim?
I'm good, thank you guys.
Okay.
Thanks,
Nathan,
Tim.
are you still there?
I am.
Do you have a question for Coach Mitty?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Coach, you mentioned Dollinger a little bit earlier, and she didn't light up the stat sheet, or at least she didn't score super well. But how important was her willingness to drive the lane and draw fouls?
Yeah, her plus minus is plus 11 on the day, so her value wasn't showing. I think her value showed in what I mentioned earlier, Nathan, in that I think they felt like they needed to guard her more, so there was bigger windows. I also thought she moved the ball fairly well, and while it doesn't show with a ton of assist, some hockey assist, spacing of the floor, and then defensively, I thought she really played well. She took a big charge in that second half, so I thought she had a very good game and did some things that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Any other questions, Nathan?
Nope, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Colton, did you have one? You're good? All right, Coach, that's all we have
All
time
right,
for.
thank you.
Thank you very
guys.
much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
We should be starting the